Hi, Lucas Gilkey from Hometown Hero here, and a lot to cover. So we're doing a quick wrap up on the session. We're going to do a much more in-depth video shortly. But now that the session is officially done, just really wanted to give you guys an update. So obviously the industry won. You know, it was incredible. There's a lot of stuff that happened behind the scenes, and we are going to go much more in depth in a video and cover all of that. But it was a very hard fought session. We were preparing for this session for a year and a half in advance. So we knew going into it, we had to come, swinging hard for the fences, and everything worked out just as planned. And we are absolutely thrilled with the way the session ended up. A few things to note. There was a lot of stuff. There were 8,535 bills introduced. 729 were sent to the governor for signature, and only 217 were actually signed into law. Special sessions. This is an important topic we need to cover. There will be multiple special sessions. There's actually one happening right now. What is a special session? It's the governor calling back the legislators to discuss and possibly create laws around some things in particular. They are limited in scope. At no point is there anything hemp related that's going to come back into a special session. It just won't happen. It's not worth the politicians' time. They're dealing with much more important issues in the special sessions, and hemp is just not one of those issues. So we're already getting calls from people saying, well, what about this special session? What about that special session? Hemp has nothing to do with these special sessions. We are in the clear. We have a year and a half until the next legislative session. And then that goes into my next topic. We retain our legislative lobbying teams year round. They are going to take a vacation right now. They're all going to take a break and relax for a little bit. And then we're going to dive right back into prepping for the next legislative session. This is how this works. We're now a big industry. We have to take every session seriously, because if we don't, other people will, and it won't be to our advantage. So just know our teams are already prepping for the next session. Just because we won doesn't mean we won. This is more about making this sustainable and making it ongoing. And we're also looking at ways so that we don't have to fight so hard every session. We can actually start putting things into place that are laws that allow us to be sustainable as an industry and not have to fight every session. We did commission an economic impact report on the state of Texas in regards to the hemp industry. I wanted to thank Jackson Haney of Oasis Hemp for donating a fairly large amount of money to help us with this economic impact study. This is a big deal. We didn't actually use it this session. It didn't come to the point where we needed to use it, but we do have it available, and we probably will more than likely disseminate it to the entire industry in Texas and possibly other states so people can see what we're doing, how we did it, and why this is valuable information. I will say this, the hemp industry in Texas is massive. It's big, it's really big. I have a strong belief it's probably the biggest in the entire country. If not, it's very close to the top, but I think it's probably the biggest. Let's see. So there was some drama at the end of the session, and it really didn't have a lot to do with us. It had a lot to do with kind of late players to the game. So there were multiple industry associations and people that were out all of a sudden at the last minute when the session's almost done. They started fear-mongering and telling people there was issues and there was stuff going wrong and they needed to raise money and needed money. As far as we could tell, most of that was nonsense. This session has been, we've been on top of this session from the very beginning. Even for, years prior, we were prepping for this session. We never asked anybody for money. There were some people that came forward and said they would donate money. So far it looks like, one person gave some money. Some other people said they would give us money. That's kind of how this happens. And we know it happens this way. And that's why we put the money up for this. This year alone, between the lawsuit and the legislative session and everything that we do, we're going to be well in over $1 million, right? I love that people want to help us, but in the grand scheme of things, if it's not a sizable amount of money, a lot of times it's just not worth it. It's not worth the hassle of trying to go through it and trying to raise, $10 here and $20 there. And not that doesn't help. It's just, we have better use of our resources other places than trying to chase, small dollar amounts like that. So this is our home state. We're going to fight to defend Texas tooth and nail, always, no question. And we have learned that we cannot rely on other people to do this for us. We have to do it ourselves. So it's sort of a side effect, a benefit of you being in this industry that we're doing this on your behalf. All we ask is, if you like, support us, buy our products, sell our products, help us do business because it helps us fight on your behalf. So there were a few people that gave the impression that we didn't have things under control at the end. Now, as far as I can tell, these are people that largely had not a lot to do with the legislative session and didn't really have a lot of impact on it either. And they're simply trying to raise money. And I get that, I understand that, but to kind of throw shade on other people's efforts and, we've been really working hard on this to try and make it seem like we didn't know what we're doing, not the best. So be careful of sort of these anybody using scare tactics to raise money in Texas. That doesn't work. And if they don't have a strategy, and if the strategy seems like it was prepared at the last minute, don't give them any money. Now, what can we do better in Texas prepping for the next session? I do think we need to consolidate as an industry. We need to figure out what one association looks like and how that's possible. That's a conversation that we need to have as an industry. These multiple associations doing different things, being all over the place, it does not work. It's not functional, and it ended up creating a giant headache for us because you've got these associations that, for the large part, outside of a couple of them, have no idea what they are doing, had very little to no involvement in the session, and ended up just creating a headache for people when it was completely unnecessary. So next session, we're really looking to unify the industry, bring us all together, and have a clear vision of what this looks like legislatively. So that's kind of everything in a nutshell. This session was very drama-free. It was the least stressful session that we've been through, and it looked like it was pretty well wrapped up. It was pretty well taken care of, even from the very beginning. And this is largely in part due to the amount of work that went on behind the scenes with our lobbying team, with our regulatory team, with Cynthia and Curtis, and all the work that they put into this. Just know, if it looks easy, it's because there was a lot of preparation done. There was a lot of stuff done behind the scenes beforehand, and working with amazing people like Trish Castaneda and our lobbyists and all these wonderful people that we're very blessed to work with that do this on our behalf and on your behalf. So thank you for joining us. Thank you for being a part of this. We're very much looking forward to now start prepping for the next legislative session, which we've got a year and a half, so that's exciting. And in the meantime, we're gonna be doing a lot of stuff to kind of bring this industry together and do some more stuff to help Texas grow and continue to be the strongest hemp industry in the entire country. So thank you for joining us. Thank you for a wonderful year. And we will continue putting out videos. Obviously, they aren't going to be about the legislative session. They'll be about other stuff, but we will continue putting out videos. And hopefully you guys enjoy them. Feel free to give us some feedback in the comments. Let us know what you would like to see videos on. One of the things we were looking at doing is covering some of the hemp-related books that Jack Herod had done over the years, and some of the other stuff that's out there, and maybe bringing more of this stuff to light as an industry that you may have never seen before around hemp and the history of it and a lot of the cool stuff around that. So thank you for joining us as always. Lucas Gilkey with Hometown Hero. Happy hunting.